We find Ben Richards inside a dilapidated office, cradling his shivering 2-year-old daughter, Kathy. He is desperately pleading with his former boss, Richard Manuel, to get his factory job back. Having been blacklisted for trying to organize a labor union, Ben is a pariah. Manuel callously dismisses him, accusing Ben of using his sick toddler as a guilt trip tactic. Defeated, Ben carries Kathy back through the neon-drenched slums, where massive, flickering holographic screens loom overhead. They broadcast the dazzling, high-energy games of the network, hosted by the flamboyant Bobby Thompson. On screen, desperate citizens are humiliated or physically broken for crumbs of new dollars. In his cramped apartment, Ben watches his wife, Sheila, desperately sponge-bathe their feverish daughter. With no money for basic flu medicine and the black market prices soaring, Ben stares out the cracked window at the towering, pristine skyscraper of the network in the distance. He realizes there is only one way out. Ben crosses the heavily guarded checkpoint into the wealthy sector of the city, where the streets are filled with gleaming Aston Martin Lagondas. He enters the network's massive, sterile casting facility, intending to try out for a low-stakes, humiliating trivia game show. However, after enduring a battery of invasive physical and psychological evaluations, Ben is pulled from the queue and escorted to a penthouse office. There he meets Killian, the cold, calculating executive producer of The Running Man. Killian doesn't want Ben for a trivia wheel. He sees the raw, burning desperation in Ben's eyes. Perfect television. Killian plays Ben like an instrument, offering him an irresistible deal, an immediate advance of Kathy's life-saving medication in a secured safe house for Sheila and Kathy. In exchange, Ben must sign on as a runner for the network's flagship deathmatch. Ben is introduced to his fellow contestants, Tim Jansky, a nervous, out-of-his-depth average Joe, and Jenny Laughlin, a tough, athletic competitor. They are given their starting packages, $1,000 cash, a tracking collar, a heavy video camera they must use to record daily check-ins, and a 12-hour head start before the pack of elite hunters is unleashed. With the help of Molly Jernigan, an old contact who provides him with makeshift disguises and forged papers, Ben slips onto a cargo train bound for New York City. Dressed in a heavy trench coat and a worker's cap, Ben tries to blend into the sea of commuters in a gritty, crowded Manhattan station. He looks up at a massive public display broadcasting a live, breaking news feed of The Running Man. On screen, Bobby Thompson hypes up the crowd as the hunters close in on Tim Jansky, who was foolishly tracked down after trying to flirt with a convenience store cashier. The broadcast cuts to a live feed of the hunters brutally executing Tim. The crowd in the station cheers wildly. A wave of intense, suffocating paranoia washes over Ben. He realizes that every civilian around him is staring at their phones, eager to claim the massive cash bounty for spotting a runner. Spotting a pair of suspicious eyes, Ben slips into the shadows and boards a bus heading north to Boston, clutching his camera, forced to record his first mandatory check-in while whispering in the dark. In Boston, Ben takes refuge in a cramped, low-rent hostel. Within hours, his paranoia is validated. The door is blown off its hinges. Network soldiers and hunters, led by the silent, imposing Evan McCone, storm the building. A chaotic, close-quarters firefight erupts through the narrow hallways. Ben scrambles to survive, using the hostel's tight architecture to his advantage. He accidentally ruptures a gas line during the scramble, and a stray bullet sparks a massive explosion. The blast tears through the wing of the building, killing 8 network soldiers. Bleeding and disoriented, Ben is dragged from the wreckage by Bradley Throckmorton, an underground anti-network activist. Bradley takes Ben to his family's home, intending to use Ben's platform to expose the network's lies. Bradley helps Ben record a raw, heartfelt video message exposing the civilian casualties and the network's cruelty. They broadcast it, but the network intercepts the signal in real time. On the television, Bradley and his family watch in horror as the network airs a highly realistic, vulgar, and aggressive deepfake of Ben. The deepfake Ben boasts about the explosion and mocks the dead soldiers. Outraged and disgusted by the apparent deception, Bradley's mother demands Ben leave her house immediately, forcing him back onto the cold streets. Bradley secretly directs Ben to Derry, Maine, to meet Elton Paracus, a highly eccentric, deeply paranoid rebel activist. Elton is thrilled to assist, believing Ben's survival is the catalyst needed for Revolution 13. He hands Ben a map to a secure, long-forgotten underground bunker built by his late father, which could easily hide Ben for the remainder of the 30 Days 14. However, Elton's terrified mother spots Ben and attempts to call the police. Ben rushes to stop her, but the highly unstable Elton actually pushes the alarm button himself. Elton wants a fight. He has spent years rigging his home to avenge his father's death. What follows is a hyper-violent, chaotic sequence of Home Alone-style booby traps. Network tactical teams breach the house only to be electrocuted, doused in chemicals, and blown up by Elton's homemade defense systems. Ben and Elton escape the collapsing house into the sewers, where Hunter Frank ambushes them, stabbing Elton. Ben fights Frank off and drags Elton to an all-terrain buggy. They speed onto a bridge, but an overhead network chopper carrying Evan McCone fires a sniper round, killing Elton instantly. With another Hunter's vehicle blockading the far side of the bridge, Ben floors the gas, aims the buggy straight at the blockade, and leaps into the freezing river below just as the vehicles collide in a massive fireball. As Ben drags himself ashore, a nearby outdoor screen broadcasts the brutal death of Jenny Laughlin, who is burned alive to the cheers of a bloodthirsty audience. Ben is now the final runner left alive, and his resilience is beginning to quietly inspire the desperate working-class masses. Ben reaches the coordinates of the underground bunker, only to find a cruel surprise. A sleek, gated luxury housing development has paved directly over the site. With surveillance drones buzzing overhead, Ben acts on instinct. He corners a passing high-end vehicle and takes the wealthy driver, Amelia Williams, hostage. As they drive north toward the Canadian border, Amelia is terrified, believing the network's propaganda that Ben is a psychopathic butcher. However, while driving, they listen to the live network coverage. The broadcast displays real-time, completely fabricated deepfakes of Amelia being tortured and pleading for her life. Looking at her own pristine reflection in the rearview mirror, Amelia experiences a chilling awakening. She realizes everything she has ever been told by the network is a lie. Sympathizing with Ben's plight, she agrees to help him escape, driving him to a private airfield where they board a jet bound for Canada. Mid-flight, the cabin door opens, and Evan McCone steps out, flanked by the flight crew, who are actually undercover network hunters. Ben and Amelia are trapped. Suddenly, the cabin intercom crackles. It is Dan Killian. Knowing Ben's survival is driving unprecedented ratings and threatening the status quo, Killian offers Ben a deal. Kill McCone and the other hunters on board, and the network will crown Ben the victor, giving him his own highly paid show as their newest elite hunter. To break Ben's spirit and force his hand, Killian broadcasts live footage of Sheila and Kathy seemingly being executed by network thugs. Enraged and pushed past his breaking point, Ben snaps. He unleashes a brutal, close-quarters assault on the flight crew. During the chaos, McCone, battered and bleeding, confesses the tragic truth. He was once a runner, just like Ben, and he took Killian's deal years ago after nearly winning the very first season. Refusing to perpetrate the cycle, Ben kills McCone. He straps the terrified but resolved Amelia into a parachute, hands her Elton's revolutionary underground pamphlets, and ejects her safely over the snowy wilderness below. With the jet flying on autopilot back toward the network's metropolitan headquarters, Killian patches back into the cockpit camera, expecting a defeated Ben to accept his new role on live television. Instead, Ben looks directly into the camera. He ignores Killian's script and delivers an impassioned, raw plea to the millions of viewers watching at home, begging them to wake up, turn off their screens, and hunt down the network executives who have enslaved them. Panicking, Killian cuts the live audio feed. The network immediately airs a manipulated, deep-faked broadcast showing Ben screaming threats to crash the plane directly into the network's headquarters to kill civilians. Using this fabricated threat as justification, the network scrambles surface-to-air defense systems and shoots the jet out of the sky on live television, declaring the runner threat successfully neutralized. Sometime later, the airwaves are hijacked. Bradley Throckmorton overrides the network's feed to broadcast a recovered black box recording from the downed jet. The unaltered audio clearly plays Ben's real speech and Killian's cold, manipulative blackmail, completely shattering the network's narrative. Riots immediately erupt across the nation's slums. We discover that Ben survived the crash by utilizing the cockpit's automatic ejection seat. Hidden by the underground resistance, he is reunited with Sheila and Kathy. Their deaths had been entirely faked by Killian to break him. Back at the network headquarters, the season premiere of The Running Man is scheduled to air. Flamboyant host Bobby Thompson walks out onto the stage in a glittering suit, but the live studio audience, now filled with armed, angry citizens, glares at him with silent, deadly hostility. Terrified, Bobby drops his microphone and flees, leaving a panicked Dan Killian to take the stage and try to placate the screaming crowd. The security gates collapse as a full-scale riot breaches the studio. From the chaotic, surging crowd, a hooded figure steps forward, pulling back his cowl to reveal Ben Richards. As Killian cowers on his own stage, Ben raises a pistol and fires, executing the producer on live television. The screen cuts to static, signaling the definitive end of the network's reign. Make sure to subscribe and turn on your notification to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.